A 26,556-year harmonic time cycle through which a planet evolves through the three-dimensional bands of one harmonic universe. Each of the 4,426 years smaller cycles within one Euiago harmonic time cycle represents one time continuum. Each Euiago contains one Pardo and one Reiago tracts of time. Of the 6 time continua in a 26,556-year Euiago cycle, 4 time continua represents forward-moving tracts of one time called Pardo, and 2 represent counter-rotating tracts of a time called Reiago, in which the planet passes through the parallel universe. One harmonic universe equals 26,556-year track of time, which is one Euiago. When passing from one Euiago cycle, which is one harmonic universe, to the next angular rotation of particle spin, ARPS, shifts within 45 degrees. Each of the 5 harmonic universes within a time matrix represents one time cycle, or Euiago cycle, containing 6 smaller cycles of time called time continua. A Euiago, or a time cycle, is a fixed, repeating pattern of Pardo flashline sequences, Pardo phasing, or a repeating cycle of specific ratios of energy expansion, oscillation, and contraction vibration. Please see my Pardo video. Time cycles of our planetary system have specific names and degrees of shift and number of years associated with them. One time continuum equals 6 vectors, which is 1.25 degree shift. One Euiago equals 6 continuums, which is 7.5 degree shift. One Euiagha equals 6 Euiago, 45 degree shift. 4 Eyugha equals 24 Euiago at 45 degree shifts. 4 Eyaghas of PCM, which PCM stands for Pardo, equals 12 cycles of Pardo Eyardo equals 180 degree shift. 4 Euiagha of PKA, which is Pardo equals 12 cycles of Pardo Eyado at 180 degree shift. 1 Eyana cycle equals 1 Pardo Eyardo plus 1 Pardo Eyado, which equals a 360 degree shift. 1 Euiago is equal to 1 cycle of a 6 cycle at the end of 6 Euiagos, which is 1 Eyugha. There would be an opportunity for the planet to make a shift from density 1 to density 2. That means harmonic universe 1, which we were in, to harmonic universe 2, which we are currently in. If one planetary Euiago is a fourth of the full accretion pattern of the planetary shield, then 4 Euiaghas would be the full harmonic spectrum accretion pattern, and that would be the time that the whole planetary body could make 2 45 degree shifts through the density 4 void, and then up to the Eonic time cycle of the Ecka. Even though our system was damaged, this was a potential that manifested due to Hethalin Roosh TA reset cycle. Hethalin is part of the Merkaba cycle that corresponds to the electrical peak, referring to the peak or the top speed of the spin of the electrical Merkaba in the electrical magnetic Merkaba set. Hethalin is a very natural cycle, a part of what is also called the replenishing of the crystal seed atom, which is the center of the Merkaba, and it is what makes the Merkaba spin. That is going back to the original point of creation and reset, and this happened in May through August of 2003. After our planet had fulfilled a full Eyardo, Pardo 12 cycle, and a full Eyado, Pardo 12 cycle on a universal level time cycle, we would have had the opportunity to pass the monadic cycle of the Ecka, called an Aeonic time cycle. To move into our Ecka from density 1, we would have to do 8 45-degree shifts of the Vecca perimeter octave shield, which would take us across 4 void spaces, one between each density, as we zigzag back and forth between our Pardo Cum and our Pardo Ka universes and merge with our density 2, 3, and 4 stations of identity to fulfill 212 cycles. Then we would start the pattern again, but on the Ecka level, which would be an aeonic time cycle. What is a monadic? The monad identity is the portion of the multidimensional mind that corresponds to the 8th dimension and the God seed, the center of the oversoul matrix, and the Becha Hava body, through which the Hava bodies and identity levels in the time matrix connect to the God seed through the heavy body stationed within the matrix. The monad is a 3-dimensional scalar grid that houses the oversoul Gesult identity in dimensions 7, 8, and 9, and that is in harmonic universe 3, and that simultaneously exists as a fixed pattern of tonal vibration within the God seed, within which the scalar grids of the 8 Hava bodies reside. The monad identity of D8 is central control consciousness for the oversoul matrix Becha Hava body, and through the anchoring of the monad to expedite the process of oversoul integration, the scalar grid of the 8th dimensional monadic mind is brought progressively into merger with the 5th dimensional archetype mind and the 2nd dimensional emotional mind, which realigns distortions in the 7th dimensional etheric mind, the 6th dimensional angelic mind, the 5th dimensional archetype mind, the 4th dimensional astral mind, 3rd dimensional mental body, 2nd dimensional emotional mind body, and 1st dimensional cellular and etheric instinctive mind body. The monad is the aspect of our multidimensional self that holds our direct connection to source, our capacity to manifest in space, time, matter forms, and retain an open communication, flow back and forth. It holds our capacity for eternal life and serves as a two-way swinging door to and from source. I'm going to try to explain what the Ecka is. I'm going to read about the Eckasha universe, God worlds, because it was mentioned here in the time cycle. So I think it's a good time to just at least bring it up so you can have an understanding of what this means, and I probably will do a video on it. The God worlds are composed of different domains. The God worlds of the outer domain or manifest worlds. Outer worlds where we reside emerge, form the middle domain, and the middle domains emerge from the inner domains, the inner hub world, which in turn emerges form the core of creation. This is a movement in and out from the core of creation as opposed to up and down movement within our stargates. The levels closest to God source is known as the Ecasha universe or God worlds. 1 Ecasha God world equals 4 Ecasha spectra equals level 4 Ecasha ash body. 1 Ecasha spectra equals 4 Ecasha corridors equals level 3 Ecasha body. 1 Ecasha corridor equals 4 Ecka worlds equals level 2 Ecasha body. 1 Ecka world equals 4 Vecca universes equals level 1 Ecka Vecca body. 1 Vecca universe equals 4 15-dimensional time matrices, and it's in 4 quadrants. These 4 levels from the Ecka Vecca body to the Eckasha body are called the 4 level. It is called the Eyugha body, living creation manifestation matrix. Each world level has a Pardo Cum side and its corresponding twin parallel Pardo Ka side. Where we exist is considered the outer domain worlds, as we exist in the last steps of manifestation. There are also the middle domain worlds, the inner domain worlds, and the core domain of creation. due to particle phasing through which each particle creates a particum and a parallel particle unit. Each of the God worlds has a particum side as well as a parallel at 90 degrees particle side. Every Vecka universe has a parallel Vecka universe. Every Ecka world has a parallel Ecka world, and so on. Our time matrix corresponds to particum side, which has a corresponding parallel particle time matrix in our Vecka system. The Eckasha Allah, body of the first manifest eternal consciousness body of the outer world creation domains. It merges from the inner Unisai, Rishaha, the first hub of creation. This contains 15 unisum cells, the first 15 spherical domains of the outer first creation. The Eckasha Ahala body is known as the body of Christ, the first Son of God's source, as it represents the first outer manifest crystallization of God force consciousness into electromagnetic radiation. Happy Thursday, everybody. A dear friend of mine sent me a video of this brilliant child. I'm sure many people have seen the video, but he talks about the Mandela effect. And the Mandela effect is part of this parallel Earth. So that brought me to talk about time continuum. And I'm going to make this video a video on my channel because I need to talk about these time vectors. And I've spoken about this before because it also has to do with particles and ARPs, which is particle, particum, and particle, and angular rotation of particle spins. So I'm going to go through this really fast because I have to start my day. Okay, so each of the 6 4,426 years smaller cycles within one of a 26,556 year Euiago harmonic time cycle through which a planet evolves through the three-dimensional bands of one harmonic universe. So we have 5 harmonic universes, and each harmonic universe, there's a three-dimensional band. One time continuum equals 6 time vectors, and that's a 1.25 degree shift. Of the 6 time continuas in a 26,556 year Euiago cycle, 4 time continua represents forward moving tracks of time called Pardo, and 2 represent counter rotating tracks of time called Reiago, and which the planet passes through the parallel universe. A planet progression through one time continuum creates a 45 degree shift in the angular rotation of a particle spin, which is ARPS, and you can see my particle video on my channels. Or it's 1/8 of a full 360 degree rotation of particles, thus one time continuum represents 1 octave. 1 octave equals a 4,426 year track of time. One dimension contains 2 time continuas, or 2 octaves. A planet progression through one dimension creates a 90 degree shift, or 2 shifts at 45 degree angles in the particle spins, ARPs, or 1/4 of a full 360 rotation. Thus, one dimension represents 1 harmonic quadrant. 1 quadrant equals 8,852 year track of time. 3 dimensions equals 3 quadrants, or 6 octaves time continuous, equals 1 harmonic universe. 1 harmonic universe equals 26,556 year track of time, which is 1 Euiago. And this is why we are in our ascension process, because we are in that 26,556 year Euiago cycle. And we're going up in harmonic universes because of the way the particles spin. It's pushing us up into higher levels of units of consciousness, hence why people are waking up. And if they're not waking up, it's because they haven't accreted to that 1.5 level, And that means, unfortunately, their morphogenetic fields also aren't giving enough particle spins. And they're just sitting and ruminating in their chaos because they're stuck. And it's a really unfortunate thing to be in. It makes me very sad that they can't move in accretion because of this. And we all know why, okay? You think about why. There's a lot of reasons. Anyways, I digress because sometimes I have to explain this in a sense, at a logic sense, so you can get a visual of, because, there's science behind this. And I want you guys to put things together so the light bulb goes on, so you can have a visual of what is really going on with parallel universes and dimensions and particle spins and the harmonic universes and everything. So time cycles of our planetary system. You know what? I have to go back here. The planet exists within each of the 6 time continuous simultaneously through the synchronization of particle pulsation speed and angular rotation of particle spins with each of the time continuous. And this process gives conscious perceiving the third dimension, the illusion of passage through linear time, which there isn't linear time. We don't have linear time. You're just perceiving it that way. So time cycles of our planetary system have specific names, degrees, and shifts, and number of years associated with them. And I'm going to go through that really quick. So one time continuum is 6 time vectors at 1.25 degree shift. One Euiago cycle is 6 continuums at a 7.5 degree shift. When Eyugha is 6 Euiagos, which is a 45 degree shift. 4 Euiagas are 25 Euiagos, which is 4 45 degree shifts. 4 Eyugha of PCM, which PCM stands for Particum, equals 1/12 cycle equals a PCM Particum. Eyardo, which is 180 degree shift. 4 Euiagha of PKA, which is Particae, equals 1/12 cycle equals PKA, which is Partica. Eyardo equals 180 degree shift. And when Iani cycle equals 1 PCM, which is Particum, Eyardo, plus 1 PKA, Partica, Eyardo, which is 360 degree shift. I'm going to spell these for you real quick. And in my video, I will post the names there. An Euiago cycle, the 600 or 26,556 years, every 26,556 years, it is a Euiago. That's spelled Euiago, for those of you who want to write that down. The Eyugha is Eyugha, okay, and then we have Eyardo is Eyardo, and then we have the Eyado, which is Eyado, and then we have a Eyana, Eyana. So I'll put this into a video, and I'll type it all out so you can when you watch it, you can do a screenshot. One more thing I wanted to read is the way time is structured and layered out like space. There are probabilities, which means there are various different time vectors of the same set of events that can get in varieties of different ways. And that is the Mandela effect. And the way that is fulfillment of you or your Christos self, of fulfilling your heroic potential, your divine blueprint, is also called a heroic path. It's HEROIC. And then there's a bunch of sets of different ways that through your free will choice, you could end up with different outcomes. That is what the Christos potential was to give you have free will, and depending on what path you choose, that will be determining of your potential. All right, have a fantastic day. Maybe this helped you activate and have an understanding of about the Euiago cycles. Much love.